Hello. Okay, so now we're going to go over all the other questions that are on quiz 1 and quiz 2 for your reassessment. Okay, I happened to find quiz 1. This was from Manu, so I just rewrote it. We already did 1 and 2, so we're not going to do those. But you have 3, 4, 5. These really are a question of simplifying the expression. Basically, you have to combine like terms. That's really all this stuff is combining like terms. Okay. So we're just going to go over there, the fundamentals of combining like terms. So you could put this in the book of how to do things. Okay, the secret is to combine like terms. You look at all the x terms and combine them. You look at all the constant terms and combine them. But you have to distribute if you have parentheses first. So what to watch out for? If you have parentheses, see 2, x minus 4 in parentheses, you have to distribute the 2 across the x and the 4 and the negative 4. So you go 2x minus 8. You have to do that first. Okay. Now you have to watch out for combining things with negative numbers. So if you have a 2x minus x, that x is really a 1x. So it's 2x minus 1x equals minus 3x, right? Because negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. And if you have 2x plus x, that's like 2x plus 1x, and that's negative x because it's like negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. You can always put a 1 in front of the x to make it more clear. If you don't know what's going on with those, if you're looking for a number in front of the x and there's only an x, put a 1 in front of it. And then you can figure it out. So like at the bottom one, negative x plus 3x is really negative 1x plus 3x. So it's really negative 1 plus 3, which is positive 2, right? Because negative 1 plus 3 is 2. So that's what you need to know. This was the test, the actual test. So you could see problem 3, you basically combine like terms. Problem 4, you have a 5v minus a 3v, which is a 2v. And this one you have to distribute first. And you have a 5d minus a 6d, which is just a d or a 1d. Okay, what to watch out for here? You have to distribute correctly with the parentheses. You must distribute out. Okay, so I have a 4 minus x minus 3x. So you got 16 minus 4x. And then you just go from there. And negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7 plus 18. Okay, oh yeah, here you have bottom here. You have 2x minus x, which is like 2x minus 1x. So that's just like a 1x. Okay, so then you have a sample test in the packet that you can play around with. Okay, I was lucky enough to find your quiz for number 2 because thankfully I took a picture of it. Here it is. This is your actual quiz, and you'll have a copy of that in your packet. So let's go over the fundamentals on how to do that. Okay, solving equations. What do you need to know? You have to isolate the x term or the unknown term. Sometimes you call it a v or an x or a j or a q or a p or whatever you want to call it. So you have to do to both sides the inverse of what is bothering x. Okay, so let's just drop down here. If you're adding 3 to x, then you have to subtract 3 from both sides. If you have a negative 11 bothering the x, you have to add 11 to both sides. If you have a 4x equals 12, you have to divide both sides by 4. If you have an x divided by 3 equals 12, you have to multiply. You're having an x divided by 3, you have to multiply both sides by 3, and that knocks out the 1/3 there, the x over 3. And that's how you do this thing. The problem is what to watch out for if everything is bothering poor x. Okay, if everything's bothering poor x, you have to do it step by step. The first step is you have to get that x term by itself. So you do the addition or subtraction first. In this case, you add 12 to both sides, and this one you subtract 24 from both sides, and then you're left with these other equations that are not that pretty, but we need to do them, and that would be page 4. Page 4, we're stuck with 3/2 x equals 36. You do one at a time. First, x is being multiplied by 3. So you divide both sides by 3. Then you get x over 2, right? Because you still have that over 2 thing, equals 12. And because x is being bothered by a half, then you have to multiply by 2, and you have x is equal to 24. This one, 4/5 x is negative 10. X is being bothered by a 4 being multiplied by, so you divide both sides by 4, so you get x over 5 is negative 10 over 4. It's okay to leave it as a fraction for now. And now x is being bothered by a 1/5, or being divided by 5, so you have to multiply both sides by 5, and then you have this thing, and you get the answer. And then you have to check. By the way, in all of these problems with Gabby, you must check. Okay, checking is part of the solution. And notice here, I will show you, really blow this thing up. When you check, when you check, oh, I have to go down all the way. when you check, you have to be a little humble. And you put a question mark. See that thing? Equals with a question mark through it because you don't know if it's true yet. See that? You put that question mark in there. It shows a bit of humility, right? Question mark, question mark. Anyway, it turns out that I checked this ridiculous problem and it actually didn't work. I mean, this really happened to me. It really did fail. So I really did make a mistake. So I said to myself, oh my God, I made a mistake. What do? I feel pretty stupid. So I looked at it and I said, oh, look at this. 5 times 10 is not 20. What happened there, I asked myself, well, what did you do wrong? What happened there was I saw too many 4s and 5s going around, and I was sort of excited that this was the last problem, and I forgot what to do. And I just wrote down a 20 because I saw these 4s and 5s there. So obviously, I made a mistake. So then you go back, no problem. Everybody makes mistakes. Of course we make mistakes. So then you go back, you fix it, and you get the answer is negative 25 over 2, and then you check it. See the question mark thing there? See that? Because you have some humility there. And then it turns out it's right. It turns out Gabby's never going to give you a question where the answer is going to be negative 25 over 2. I just happened to get that because I made up the numbers and I just came out to be that way. The important thing, though, is to check. You have to check. I think part of Gabby's quiz, the question I think she actually said, go back to quiz 2, we're almost done, is it says check your solution. Okay, so checking your solution is part of the test. Let's see. Oh, she didn't really write that. I can solve and check. I can solve and check. Okay, so you have to check. So that's how you do these things. You have a whole packet. You also have another test for quiz 2 that you could play with. And that's it. Have a great day and good luck on the quiz or good luck on the reassessments. Take care.